October 26, 2014, from the University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. It was the Philadelphia Eagles at the Arizona Cardinals. Philly won the toss and they elected to receive. They would go 3 and out on their first possession, so the Cardinals would take over with a little less than 14 minutes left in the first, and they had it on their own 23. They would end up bringing the ball across midfield, but their drive would stall on the Philadelphia 35, and they would be forced to punt the ball. So now the Eagles took over with less than 9 minutes left in the first. They had it on their own 20, and they would bring the ball across midfield and into Arizona territory. Then on 2nd and 10 from the Arizona 21, Nick Foles dropped back to pass, and he hit Jeremy Maclin for a 21-yard touchdown pass that put the Eagles on the scoreboard as they took the early lead with the score 7-0 Eagles over the Cardinals. So now the Cardinals took over with less than 5 minutes left in the first. They had the ball on their own 20, and they would bring the ball across midfield and into Philadelphia territory as they brought the first quarter to a close. So after 1, it was Philadelphia 7, Arizona nothing. So to start things off in the second quarter, it was 3rd and 7 from the Philadelphia 19. Carson Palmer dropped back to pass, and he hit Larry Fitzgerald for a 13-yard reception that made it 1st and goal on the 6. And then after a 5-yard run by Ellington, it was 2nd and goal on the 1, and Ellington punched it in as he tied this game up at 7 apiece. So now the Eagles would take over with about 14 minutes left before halftime. And they had it on their own 21. They brought the ball to midfield, and it was 2nd and 3 on the Arizona 47. Nick Foles dropped back to pass and hit Jeremy Maclin for a 28-yard reception that brought the ball to the Arizona 19. Now on 1st down, Nick Foles dropped back to pass, and he was hit by Rucker, and it was a fumble. He actually passed the ball to Huff, and Huff fumbled it as he got blown up by Rucker, and Buchanan recovered, and now it was Arizona's ball on their own 2-yard line with about 10.5 minutes left before halftime. They ended up getting out of the shadow of their own end zone, went on 3rd and 4 from the 8. Carson Palmer hit Brown for a 25-yard pass, and a roughing the passer got tacked on, so now it was 1st down on the 48, but they wouldn't get any further as they ended up punting the ball to the Eagles. So now the Eagles would take over with about 8.5 minutes left before halftime. They had the ball on their own 15, and they ended up bringing the ball to Arizona territory, went on 3rd and 15 from the Philadelphia 10 after some penalties. Nick Foles dropped back to pass and he hit Riley Cooper for a 50-yard pass, and then a roughing the passer penalty would make it a 1st down for the Eagles on the Cardinals 25. So now 1st down on the Cardinals 25. Nick Foles dropped back to pass and he was intercepted by Cromartie. And so now the Cardinals took over on their own 38 with a little over 7 minutes left before halftime. They would go 3 and out, and so they punted the ball to the Eagles. So the Eagles now took over with less than 6 minutes left before halftime. They had the ball on their own 19, and they would end up punting the ball 6 plays later. So now the Cardinals took over with less than 4 minutes left before halftime. They had the ball on their own 21, but 5 plays later they punted it back to Philadelphia. So now the Eagles had the ball with less than 2 minutes left before halftime. It was on their own 11. They did reach midfield, but on the 4th and 10 from the Arizona 44, they punted the ball, and that would bring the first half to a close. So at halftime, the score was tied up at 7 apiece. So now to start the third quarter, the Arizona Cardinals would get the ball first, and they started things off on their own 20, and it was 3rd and 10 from the 20. Carson Palmer dropped back to pass, and he hit Larry Fitzgerald for an 80-yard touchdown pass that made it 14-7. Cardinals over the Eagles. So now the Eagles took over with about 14 minutes left in the third. They had the ball on their own 20, and 9 plays later they would end up punting it. So now the Cardinals took over with less than 11 minutes left in the third. They would go 3 and out. And so now the Eagles took over with about 9 minutes left in the third. They had the ball on their own 44. They brought it across midfield, and their drive stalled on the 36 of Arizona. And so Cody Parkey would come out to attempt a 54-yard field goal. It was up, and it was good. And the score was now 14-10 as the Eagles had brought it to within 4 points. So now the Cardinals took over with a little over 7 minutes left in the third. They would go 3 and out yet again. And so now they punted the ball, and the Eagles would also go 3 and out. And so now the Cardinals got the ball back, and they went 3 and out again. And so now Philadelphia took over with about 2.5 minutes left in the third quarter. They had the ball on their own 36. Nick Foles dropped back to pass, and he hit Jeremy Maclin for a 54-yard touchdown pass that gave the Eagles the lead with the score now 17-14. So the Eagles were now up by 3. The Cardinals now took over with about 2.5 minutes left. That it only took 9 seconds off the clock in that quick strike by the Eagles. But the Cardinals now would end up with the ball, and they actually had it. It was 2nd and 10 on their own 37, and then Ellington ran for 11 yards, but he fumbled the ball, and it was recovered by Philadelphia. The play was challenged, but it was ruled a fumble. So now the Eagles took over with less than a minute left in the third. They had the ball on the Arizona 48, and they brought the third quarter to a close. So after 3, the score was Philadelphia 17, Arizona 14. The Eagles ended up going 3 and out on this possession. They crossed over the third into the fourth, and so on the second play of the fourth quarter, the Eagles punted the ball to the Cardinals. The Cardinals would go 3 and out again, and so now the Eagles took back over. The Eagles had the ball on their own 42 with about 13 minutes left in this game, and then on 3rd and 11 on the Eagles 41, Nick Foles dropped back to pass, and he was intercepted for the second time in this game by Cromartie. So Cromartie gets his second pick, and the Cardinals take back over on the Philadelphia 40 with about 12.5 minutes left in this game. Palmer then hit Ellington for a 7-yard pass, and then Ellington ran for 6 yards, and then he ran for another 6 yards, and then he ran for 2 yards. So now it was 3rd and 2 on the Philadelphia 19. Carson Palmer then hit Hughes for a 9-yard pass to pick up the first down, and then 3 incomplete passes would bring out Catanzaro, who then kicked a 28-yard field goal, and this game was now tied up at 17 apiece. The Eagles now took over with 9 minutes left in the game. They had the ball on their own 20, and then they picked up a first down. It was now first down on the 38. Nick Foles then hit Matthews for a 13-yard pass to bring the ball to the edge of Arizona territory on the 49, and then he hit Ertz for a 5-yard pass, but an offensive holding penalty would bring the ball back into Philly territory. So it was 1st and 20 on the Philly 41, and then McCoy ended up getting stuffed for no gain, but a horse collar tackle penalty would give the Eagles a first down and bring the ball back into Arizona territory on the 44. And then a few plays later, it was 3rd and 2 on the Arizona 36. Nick Foles then hit Zach Ertz for a 15-yard pass that made it a first down on the 21. Then on 2nd and 6 from the 17, McCoy ran for 6 yards to pick up another first down. So it was a first down on the Arizona 11. Then on 3rd and 1 from the 2, McCoy got stuffed for no gain, and on the 2-yard line, they would have to be forced to go for the field goal. As Parkey came out, he kicked the 20-yarder, and the Eagles took the lead with the score 20-17. So now Carson Palmer and the Cardinals had less than 2 minutes on the clock. They took over on their own 20-yard line. Palmer then hit Fitzgerald for a 5-yard pass. It was now 2nd and 5 from the 25 for the Cardinals. An incomplete pass would bring up 3rd and 5. Carson Palmer dropped back to pass, and he hit Brown for a 75-yard touchdown, and the Cardinals take the lead at 24-20. And so now, with less than a minute and a half left, the Eagles would get one last chance. They had the ball on their own 20. Then on 2nd and 10 from the 20, Foles hit Riley Cooper for a 22-yard pass to bring the ball out to the 42. Then on 2nd and 10 from the 42, Foles hit Maclin for an 8-yard pass. It was now 3rd and 2 at the 50. Foles then hit McCoy for a 4-yard pass to pick up the first down. So it was 1st and 10 on the 46. Then on 2nd and 10 from the 46, after an incomplete pass, Foles hit McCoy for an 8-yard pass. So once again, it was 3rd and 2, this time from the Arizona 38, and Nick Foles threw an incomplete pass. And then a timeout by Arizona, their first timeout. Now there's only 25 seconds left on the clock. It's 4th and 2 from the 38, and the Eagles had no choice but to go for it as they were down by 4, and a field goal did them no good. Nick Foles then ran for 3 yards to pick up the first down, and the Eagles stayed alive. They then burned their last timeout with 18 seconds left. It was a first down now on the Arizona 35. Nick Foles dropped back to pass, and he hit Jeremy Maclin for a 19-yard reception to bring the ball to the Arizona 16 for the first down. Then after 2 incomplete passes, Arizona took a timeout, It didn't matter. The clock was stopped anyway off the incomplete pass. There was only 1 second left. Arizona called the timeout to gather themselves. It was now 3rd and 10 from the Arizona 16. 1 second on the clock. One last chance. Nick Foles drop backs the pass, and the Arizona Cardinals break up the pass, and they hold on to win this game by 4 points with the final score: Arizona 24, Philadelphia 20. And the Cardinals are just the 4th team to reach 6 victories on the season, as they are now 6-1. They're undefeated at home, as they're 4-0 on the season in Phoenix. Well, Glendale actually, but in Arizona. The Eagles are now 5-2 on the season. In this game, Carson Palmer was 20 for 42 with 329 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. Nick Foles was 36 for 62 with 411 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He also rushed for 14 yards off of 2 carries. The leading rusher in this game was LaShawn Shady McCoy with 83 yards off of 21 carries. Andre Ellington had 71 yards off of 23 carries, including a touchdown. He also had 3 receptions for 14 yards. The leading receiver in the game was Jeremy Maclin with 187 receiving yards off of 12 receptions and 2 touchdowns. Larry Fitzgerald had 160 yards off of 7 receptions, one of which was for a touchdown. And Brown had 119 yards off of 5 receptions and a touchdown as well. And that was actually John Brown. They have 2 guys named Brown. It can get confusing there with the 2 Browns. For Arizona on defense, the leading tackler was Jefferson. He had 12 tackles. Johnson had 11 tackles. No Eagle had more than 5 tackles. There was no sacks for Arizona, and there was no sacks for the Eagles, as both offensive lines protected their quarterbacks really well. The only interceptions in this game were for the Cardinals, and they were both by Cromartie, as he had those 2 picks off of Foles. So the Cardinals win this game in impressive fashion. It came down to the wire. The final score, Arizona 24, Philadelphia 20.